Welcome to another episode of AI Product Leader, where every week we shine a light on what it really takes to join the AI world. Real conversations with real AI builders, founders, product leaders, AI experts, technologists, and everything in between to understand where the world of AI is right now and what that path looks like, whether you're building AI products or building an AI career. Have a question or a topic? Email us at support@AI Career Boost and join the conversation. I'm your host, Polly Allen. I'm the founder of AI Career Boost, where I spend my time helping product managers and leaders navigate the world of AI and transition into AI leadership roles. I've spent my career in both the product management and software sides of the world, and I'm an ex-Alexa AI principal product manager, where I successfully launched the first generative AI answers on Alexa back in 2020. I'm a top 100 Woman of the Future award winner, and I'm so excited to be here today sharing my knowledge and my guests' knowledge with you. And I'm especially thrilled today to be joined by an exceptional guest, Jimena Barrera, who's the growth manager at Equilo, which is a data platform as a service focused on automating gender analysis for impact investment and humanitarian aid. She's a dynamic business strategist with a passionate advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion. With over a decade of international experience spanning product management, program management, and business strategy across sectors like international development and mission-driven technology, Jimena brings a unique global perspective shaped by her experiences in Latin America, Europe, and Asia. Her journey from rural Colombia to Harvard Kennedy School and the tech world exemplifies her resilience and commitment to driving social change through innovation and creative approaches. And as a board member and creative leader, Jimena leverages her expertise in business strategy and growth to champion gender equity and DEI initiatives, making her a true force for positive transformation in the corporate world. Her multifaceted background, including a master's in management and international business and a second Dan black belt in Taekwondo, reflects the diverse skill set she brings to every challenge, embodying that intersection of business acumen, cultural awareness, and social responsibility. She's also joining us today from Colombia on her birthday. Thank you so much for coming from such a long way away, even though it's virtual, but on your birthday especially, Jimena. It's such a joy to have you here.
Oh, thank you very much, Polly. Yeah, it's also my pleasure to be here, and what a wonderful way to celebrate my birthday. Thank you
Oh,
very much
thanks.
for that beautiful
I'm very
introduction as well.
Wonderful. Well, I wanted to kick us off by just understanding a little more depth about your background. I know now you're involved in several initiatives in AI and AI for good, but before you became interested in AI, like paint us a picture of a bit more of your background that you brought to that before you got more invested on the AI side.
Yeah, certainly. So my background has been into the intersection between the world of international development in organizations such as UNDP, United Nations Development Program, also consulting firms in economic development, and organizations looking into impacting positively people, communities, and societies. So that has been one important part of my career background, and the roles I have been conducting there has been program management, project management, business strategy. And on the other hand, another side of my career has been also in technology, in software development and mobile application development. Um, and also there in roles of project management, program management, and then recently product management. And there was a time in my career when I was very deep into technology and fascinated about uh, the whole experience I was learning about from a business background. There were lots of things to discover myself. I was not from a technical background, but I had like a wonderful team that was teaching me in one way or another about uh, from the fundamentals and the basics of backend and what is the data pipeline and how front end and backend systems connect, and then the whole space of design and UI and UX and the psychology elements of it intertwined with technology. So it was a fascinating world to me. I'm very grateful with Zemoga, which was the software development company here in Colombia that I learned that from. And then there was a time where like my heart was like, okay, we're learning fascinating things here. But like I really miss impact. I really miss like impact related to people, to creating a social difference. which has been always part of my inspiration, particularly coming from Colombia, where it's a wonderful country. And at the same time, we have socioeconomic inequalities and gender inequalities. That has been part of my context, and that has been part also of my own sense of responsibility to contribute to. So at the time, I was able to find another wonderful organization that allows me to think back again to that passion and purpose driven soul. And it was Pro Mujer, which is a Latin American organization that operates in Argentina, Mexico, Guatemala, Bolivia. Um, and then I was able to become myself a regional manager in digital innovation. And this organization focus on women empowerment for low income women entrepreneurs in Latin America, mainly in inclusive finances, healthcare, and entrepreneurship education. And it was a very interesting challenge because at that time, this wonderful organization was in the middle of the process of digital transformation, coming all the way from brick and mortar type of business model and analog in-person services towards transforming themselves into diversifying their portfolio and the ways of generating value and creating impact to incorporate digital programs again in inclusive finances, healthcare, and entrepreneurship. So it was fascinating step for me and jumping to that new type of challenges. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Now, that's not the only work you've done for organizations that are looking at tech and AI for good, right?
Yes, precisely. So after that, then my path continued evolving, and at the same time, I was in parallel studying at Harvard University, at Harvard Kennedy School in a program of adaptive leadership. So I definitely wanted to continue growing in my career, growing professionally and personally, and looking into new ways of how I could connect the dots and continue creating a more robust profile of myself professionally, and also jumping into new challenge for growth. And that's how I arrived to Equilo, which is the startup I'm currently working at. As you mentioned, it's a data platform as a service focused on gender equality and social inclusion. And our mission is to eradicate gender inequality by using artificial intelligence to automate gender analysis and also optimize the data processing of impact metrics for decision making. And we do this primarily for private sector companies, investors, professionals in the international development industry, and humanitarian aid. And for me, in my career path, this was my first startup experience, and it has been really exciting, really exciting. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. There's so much here. So, a mission-led startup with a huge, mandate, right? It was like eliminating gender impact here. Can you tell us a little bit more about like what that mission looks like in practice, right? I was really fascinated to learn with about what Aquilo does and how people use it in order to do things like apply for grants, et cetera. Can you explain like the process a little more of how people use the platform today?
Yes, absolutely. So we have a platform that offers a variety of products. So a line of product is focused on gender equality and social inclusion analysis. So for instance, a gender specialist that needs to write a grant proposal, or a gender specialist that needs to create a report, or start with a due diligence research to assess whether the project that they are thinking about designing in their organization is taking into consideration key indicators, key metrics, key aspects of a particular country and sector. And this tool is called GESI Context Analysis Tool. GESI, it's an acronym, GESI, Gender Equality Social Inclusion Analysis Tool. And basically, we are automating the process that was previously done manually in the industry gender specialists usually go to the website to different websites. They then load information, they pass that to excel sheet, uh, they compare information from one source to another, and so on and so forth. So we are skipping all of that process for them, and we're doing it ourselves in our platform. So basically how that looks like from the user perspective is that they just enter into Equilo.io, and then through their user account they access, and they go into this context analysis tool. They select a country, or they can compare up to 5 countries. Then they select a sector, let's say agriculture or manufacturing or transport. Um, or it can be, if it's necessary, sector agnostic information as well. So they select this combination of countries and sectors. And then after that choice, then our platform displays macroeconomic and macro and social indicators in gender-based violence, in access to resources, in law and policy. How are the regulations of that particular country enabling or limiting gender equality practices, knowledge and beliefs? How is um, the cultural norms operating in that particular country and sector, and so on and so forth. So the user has direct access to quantitative and qualitative information that has been curated by gender specialists, and that
It isn't just you're citing the internet somewhere.
exactly. Yes. So is a high quality information that has been centralized, homogenized, synthesized, and delivered in an easy way to access to our users.
And what I was so interested to learn is that increasingly these bodies that give out grants like UNICEF, et cetera, they make this a requirement. If you are saying, hey, we want to do a project in Colombia, for example, and it has to do with reducing gender-based violence, you need the numbers to show, well, here's where it's at, and it's worse in this place than another place, and here's the KPI we plan to improve. Or even if your project doesn't have to do specifically, directly as like a gender initiative, just showing that you've actually taken these numbers into consideration and that your agricultural-based education program, is actually taking gender inequality into consideration. So these are actually, required by these organizations as part of the grant process. But it's also great to know they need to know they're getting high quality data too. So they're recognizing data from Aquilo as opposed to source Wikipedia,
Yes,
something
and
like that.
much faster and easier. So yeah, we're doing that. So that's one line of product. And then a second line of product is very much focused on the ecosystem of impact investment with gender lens. And that is a specific market niche, but actually our tools are expanding their reach to investors in general, financial actors in general, and companies that in one way or another want to incorporate gender best practices in the way they do things. And with this, the tool, the product that we're offering are various, are different organizational assessments, where a company can take a survey that has a very specialized methodology behind, and all they need to do is answer questions according to their reality in the context they operate. And at the end, after answering these survey models, they will get automatically a result that will um, deliver a gender score up to 5, from 0 to 5, and it will deliver detailed assessment in in specific points that we measure to see how well are they doing and where are the gaps to improve. And mainly we measure gender practices at the leadership level, at the workplace level, also the products and services, and supply chain as well. So
Amazing.
those
Really
are,
holistic.
yes, yes, pretty much. And also to help companies and investors, like through this tool, we help them to different things. Like one is we help them to build their impact story. So that's something that is very powerful because it's backed up by data. It's not only intentions or it's not only a nice narrative. It's something that they can prove, and we can back it up with our assessments results. Um, and also, we help them identify where they need to improve so they can incorporate it into their future action plans and commitments and continue working increasingly towards achieving those goals. And with that, our impact it amplifies and it multiplies throughout our users. They will be
Right.
there implementing based on this information that we deliver
Incredible.
to them.
That's really amazing. I think it's so interesting when it comes to kind of gender-based or DEI initiatives. There's a camp that's very like, hey, we should do this like no matter what, just like for equality's sake. And then there's another camp that's like, okay, but how do we measure the ROI on these initiatives? Generally, when we do measure the ROI on these initiatives, they end up proving out that more diverse teams end up having greater outcomes, women on boards, et cetera, right? But I think it's so great that the approach here helps back up the RO that the people who are demanding to see that ROI. It's like, okay, well, let's measure approach of where we are now. Let's pick the KPIs that this program should move up and to the right. And I think it's especially helpful for companies that like have good intentions but no idea how to really concretely start on this journey, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. And also, to be compliant with certain regulations, mainly with clients in Europe, for instance, where ESG regulations are very strict. So gender is one of those dimensions. And we're also entering more and more into the ESG impact metrics systems. We're entering into that as well. So one of the projects that we're developing, it's impact and measurement monitoring system that will incorporate environmental, social, and government metrics up to be compliant, to help organizations to be compliant with certain regulations, for instance, European frameworks. And also for those ones that want to go beyond just compliance, we have different levels as well of information and assessments that will help them identify where are their strengths already and where they can improve and get better in terms of
Oh,
this
that's
impact.
amazing. And I think that's it. People have a hard time benchmarking their own efforts without some outside reference points.
Yes,
Absolutely
and that's the
incredible.
beauty of data, and that's the beauty of AI as well. It starts to help us finding patterns, and thanks to more and more users that are using our tool, then we gather the data and we start to develop new benchmarks per industries, per countries, per regions, and we embedded that data as well as part of the functionalities that we offer to our clients.
It's just it's so valuable. And I know Aquilo is doing some really advanced, some cutting edge things and really fascinating things with applying AI to this data. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, certainly. So we are pioneering the space of AI for good in gender equality, and we're very proud about that. And there are a number of initiatives. So, for instance, the Jesse analysis tool that I was telling you about earlier on. One of the implementations of artificial intelligence there is that the backend system is in our own operational systems and optimizing efficiency in the way we're doing things. So in this tool where we need to centralize, homogenize, and synthesize data from large amount of data sets from various sources all over the world and guarantee high quality in the information that we're delivering. The way we're doing it is that we are using AI through our workflow, operational workflow behind. So we use the AI to automate web scraping, extract key information as well from unstructured data like PDFs. For instance, the United Nations, UN Women, they have wonderful reports, or even regional, country level or local level feminist organizations that are very serious in their research. They deliver information in PDF. So we apply RAAG, retrieval augmented regenerations, to extract information, and then we synthesize it as well into comprehensive, high quality content. And finally, um, our team of gender specialists review, edit, and polish the results, ensuring accuracy and relevance with a human in the loop approach. So that's one way.
Amazing.
Um,
Totally.
Another
And I
way
just think of like
that is more
all
like a
that research would
user.
have had to be all that research would have had to be done by hand, people kind of clicking around the internet and validating before, right? Has it sped up that process of curated data by, I'm imagining, by a lot?
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And the alternative of using Equilo is doing it by hand, just as you describe it. So it's like they don't want to do that. They definitely want to use Equilo for this. And we do it like with love, and we do it with lots of innovation, and we do it like with the best quality that we can deliver, and also using AI, of course. Yeah, so there's that, and also some exciting projects coming ahead in our product roadmap. um, more user facing, like products that our users could are going to interact with. It's an AI chatbot that is going to be a specialist in gender equality and social inclusion. So the innovation here, I mean, is not like, oh, another chatbot, right? Like nowadays we have lots of chatbots. But the real innovation here is that we're building a customized LLM that is trained in standardized frameworks, methodologies, and ways of thinking as a real expert. So, for instance, our CEO, the CEO of Equilo, Jessica Manan, she's a gender specialist with more than 20 years of experience in the gender space. And the way we see this AI chatbot is like digitalizing her brain and her mindset and her expertise. So it's just as if you are having a conversation directly with a gender expert, senior gender expert, such as Jessica, and augmented with the fact of having access to uh, trillions of data points behind that are relevant, accurate, and then you just can access that very easily and rapidly.
Amazing. I think that too many places overlook that the quality of the data is so essential, and that like the value Aquila is really delivering, or that unique value proposition is this data that enables you to build things like this on top of it that would not be possible otherwise without the quality of data that you deliver.
Yes, yes, definitely. The data sets, the seriousness that we take the data sets quality, it's definitely one of our differentiators. And also the fact of being real experts in the gender space, in the gender lenses, methodologies, and frameworks. So we have been doing different tests, like with with prompt engineering to Claude or ChatGPT, or and like act as a gender specialist and try to do blah blah blah. Um, is useful until a very shallow level. It can give you certain level of information, but not the level of analysis and depth, and most importantly, context sensitiveness that is required for a truly gender expert. And that's why we are taking lots of effort into training uh, tailored, customized LLM that act as a
Yeah,
gender specialist.
amazing. Oh,
So
that's
that's one
super
of them.
key. Yeah,
And the second one goes with this second line of product that I told you about, which focuses mostly on investors and companies. And something very excited in that product line is the partnerships that we're doing. So we partner with 2X Global, which is their reference, is it's an authority, it's a global industry standard in impact investment with gender lens. and they set the 2x criteria. The 2x criteria is a number of rules and guidelines that validates that an investment and an initiative uh, really is aligned with gender best practices. And this is one of our main partners. And with them, um, we are creating the 2x certification platform. So Equilo is the official platform for 2x self-assessment. Again, this is in the space of organizational assessments for gender equality. And these 2x certification will also have a process of verification, a third-party verification. Partner organizations that are experts in these methodologies will review the documentation and the information that these companies deliver and fill out in our forms, make sure that, well, they are correct, they're true, they're valid, analyze them, and at the end, through a very robust methodology, I'm oversimplifying it, then we can identify whether they can be certified, and at what level. We have different tiers level for gender best practices and gender equality commitments. And in these, the way we are using AI is at the beginning, there are a number of use cases that we have identified, but at least at the beginning, we're going to offer an automated ML solution that reviews the documentation from these companies and make sure the correct evidence is uploaded to streamline the process and increase the chances of certification success. So, because it's a robust methodology, because there are a number of documentations that is required to access this type of certification, there is a lot of manual work that the companies will need to do behind, and we want to help them and we want to support them to make sure the correct evidence is uploaded and help them streamline the process.
Well, especially, I think so many of the people applying for grants, there's a lot of nonprofits, et cetera. A lot of them feel like they don't have the resources to automate some of this work themselves. So providing them a way that is automating some of this and reducing the effort because it can actually really increase the chances of something getting certified, et cetera. Again, it just there's nothing but upside to this really when you're like accelerating other organizations that are also trying to do good.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. And with this certification mechanism, we want to promote transparency, accountability, and credibility in the field of gender-led investing. So it's really a contribution to the whole ecosystem.
Amazing. It's so amazing to see how technology and AI is contributing in this space. I'd love to hear about when I remember when we first started talking, you were at that point. I know you're in growth right now, but at that point you were in charge of kind of the product roadmap for Aquilo and putting together, hey, what these initiatives that are now vetted and part of that big roadmap. They are now that was your roadmap to begin with as you're dipping your toe into AI, PM road mapping, etc. How did you get started? I knew you had some ideas that potentially AI was a good fit for, but how did you approach kind of skinning that cat of put together a roadmap for such a grandiose goals?
Yeah. Well, at the very beginning, when I joined Equilo, well, which was almost 2 years ago, and yeah, like almost at the same time, there was this hype around OpenAI and the recently released ChatGPT and so on and so forth. And also at the time, I was based in San Francisco, and with my partner, who is a director in data engineering, also very much into this type of topics. We were learning and hearing and attending events and like very curious about it. And San Francisco and the Silicon Valley ecosystem, of course, is a great space to be when all this AI topics just like emerged, and it was like day by day conversations. And when I joined Equilo, and I learned more about the business model and the use cases, and the fact that there has been already at the time a vast amount of data sets, very high quality, and is a data platform as a service, and so on and so forth. I was like, well, here we need to apply AI. Like, I'm not sure how that's going to be, but like this is a mission driven startup, like creating wonderful things already. Uh, how incredible will be if we start incorporating more and more of these new technologies. Uh, then, of course, AI has been alive like already decades, but at that time, like 2 years ago, it was just like more democratized, and it seems to be more accessible uh, for smaller startups or for early stage startups to start thinking about incorporating in a way that it's feasible and realistic in a roadmap. So that was like the very, very first part. And then later on, with conversations with Jessica, the CEO, um, well, she's a visionary, and also she is very well informed of all the different trends in the tech ecosystem. And also we were um, we were cognizant of the gaps that the industries that we serve um, they have in terms of these new technological trends. And therefore, there is a very interesting business opportunity there, right? So these are more traditional industries type of thing that they're still in that digital transformation phase. And humanitarian aid, international development, impact investment, like a corporate and finance world that is not necessarily the most technological advanced, uh, we saw that there was an opportunity for us to incorporate AI into what we're doing in a way that makes sense, of course, not just like AI for AI, no, but like we already recognized relevant use cases. There was a why behind and a clear what for. And it was just a matter of educating ourselves better and equipping ourselves better so we could create robust and meaningful AI product roadmap. And that's when we arrived to a AI career boost because we didn't know where to start. We had all these elements together. We had Jessica's vision. We had Aquila's background, methodologies, and data sets. We had my own personal passion and fascination by AI, and we didn't know how to connect those dots and how to do it in a strategic, smart way. So we could approach it in a smart work way rather than a hard work way. Um, and that's where we find Polly.
Excellent. Well, I know, and it was a joy to work with you and the team while you were part of the program to sort of validate some of those ideas. And I know you talked afterwards too about the kind of the confidence it gave you in dealing with technical stakeholders. Can you say a little more about the difference you felt in dealing with in more technical conversations in AI stakeholders?
Yes, yeah, no, definitely. Um, yeah, so before before the certification project program with AI Career Boost, I already had these experiences in the tech space, but not in the AI space. Um, and then, of course, in order to implement projects, uh, and as a product manager, as a senior product manager at the time, I was in charge of translating the technical requirements and business requirements into actionable items and tasks for the engineering team and data team to develop. And for me at the beginning, that was intimidating because I was not an expert myself there yet, in the AI space. But I really want to take the challenge and learn from it. So something that I really appreciate and it was very valuable from the program with AI Career Boost is that it gave me the confidence, the vocabulary, and the understanding of how to articulate my ideas or the business ideas and convey the message to a technical audience, in this case, our technical team. And then hearing the questions, hearing the feedback, and so on. And I was like, okay, yes, I know what they're talking about. Like we're in the same page. Or if I'm not fully understanding, I'm able to make good questions or the right questions so we can move forward and resolve it. Um, so coming back from zero to to go and have this type of technical conversations was a real growth to me, and it was a meaningful step for me.
Oh, fantastic. I still remember, I think it remains as one of my proudest kind of, my heart glows moments when you had told me, oh, I'm dealing with technical stakeholders, like external vendors. And I was asking them questions and I was like, oh, these are really good questions. Like I'm driving the conversation instead of feeling like they're driving the conversation and I have to get back to them. You were asking the right questions to dive deep on things like latency or their capabilities. And I remember just feeling like this is why we do what we do, right? Is to make sure that people feel empowered in these kinds of situations. So that's just so great to hear. Fantastic. Well, wrapping up, Jimena, if you were to give advice in one sentence to folks who are just starting to get into AI, who want to dip their toe in it, who are curious about it, what would that advice be?
Well, definitely educate yourself with high quality experts, such as Polly. Like, no, really, like AI Career Boost, I really believe because I live it. Is experience that I had. Genuinely, it's a great place to start. Is meant to be for business leaders, not necessarily with the technical background. It equips ourselves with the fundamentals, the frameworks, the methodologies, and it helps to start activating in the brain a way of thinking. It starts to um, elaborate a language and a vocabulary, again, to feel confident and comfortable in technical settings. Um, it helps uh, to keep up to date, to be constantly informed, and to have access to information that matters. Nowadays, there's so much noise, like there's so much things going on around AI that there's also noisy. But here in AI Career Bust, there's curation. There are experts, team of experts that helps to identify these are the real trends or these are meaningful frameworks or methodologies or new things coming up. Pay attention to that. And also offers good questions like at the end, those are tools. What are you going to do about it? And how, as a product manager, as a business leader, you are going to find meaningful use cases, meaningful ways of delivering value through the use of these tools, technologies, frameworks, and so on. So yeah, educating yourself, being curious about it, invest. Like I believe personally that if we really want to grow, we need to invest time, money, energy in meaningful steps that allows us to go ahead and continue growing and learning and improving ourselves. And yeah, I think that the AI Career Bust is a great place to start, definitely. And beyond, and besides that, an additional advice will be getting hands-on, which is another part of the Blueprint program that I really enjoyed. It's getting hands-on. It's not only having theoretical knowledge, but definitely in the technology and AI space, it's so important to apply that knowledge. So, um, doing the AI project that AI Career Boost offers or invites to do, it's great. And besides, if someone can get into a project in their own companies, or they are thinking about joining a startup or a research program, whatever it is that helps people to apply knowledge and see the results themselves and see where things don't work and why, and how to pivot and how to keep going on, that's really valuable as well.
100%. Thanks. This is such great advice, Jimena. And speaking of deriving value, I know in the tech for good, AI for good space, you're looking to do even more here. Can you tell us a little more about the Integritas project that you're launching?
Yeah, certainly. So as I mentioned earlier, my passions are business strategy, technology innovation, and social impact, especially gender equality and women empowerment. And connecting these three with a friend of mine, Hanaya, who I met at Harvard. She's from Morocco. We are thinking in creating a business idea of developing an incubator program for Black, Indigenous women of color from the global South, where we are going to shape and nurture the next generation of female funders. They're going to incorporate as well technology and AI for good in their business models, in their products, and focusing especially in the industries of climate tech, health tech, and education tech.
Incredible. Oh, Mena, that sounds amazing. I'm so glad to see these things and that you have the energy to spread your wings beyond a current AI for good initiative, but lifting others up like this way. It really is something that is how we can help build an equitable society within this new AI paradigm. It's really exciting to see you doing that. Oh, fantastic. We have one last section, and that's for plugs. Amanda, do you have any plugs or ways that things you're looking for, people to get in contact with you about?
Yeah, well, for the two wonderful projects I'm part of, for Equilo, well, inviting people to get interested into the platform, to get interested into how to incorporate gender lens into whatever they do. Uh, we are on a mission of eradicating gender inequality through AI products that helps to automate gender analysis, and this can be implemented in various ways. We want to normalize the way of thinking about this type of impact metrics. As the same, we are incorporating finance metrics. We want to normalize the incorporation of social and gender metrics as well into whatever business we have. So there's definitely an invitation for people to get interested and excited about Aquila and go ahead into our platform and start a free account. And the second one for Integritas, yeah, we're open to collaborations, partners, investors, anyone who is interested about leadership programs, accelerator programs focused on female entrepreneurs and the tech for good or AI for good space. Well, we're more than happy to connect.
Oh, if people are interested in working with you on Integritas, how should they get a hold of you? LinkedIn?
Yeah, definitely. Like it could be through my LinkedIn or email.
Perfect. We'll send that out as part of the show notes. Fantastic. From my end, I want to be sure we have a free masterclass for product managers coming up, the path to AI product manager, where you'll learn the skills and the fastest ways to get them to thrive in AI product development and careers. We have that coming up September 3rd, and we officially kick off on September 11th with the next the next cohort of the Blueprint program. So if you're interested in that, check us out at aicareerboost.com because the applications to be part of the next program are open now. So do check that out. And of course, as always, I love to plug the show. So please like us on your favorite podcast platform, wherever that may be. It really helps out the show if you give us a thumbs up or the 5 stars or whatever. And finally, I just love to thank you so much, Jimena, for being part of the show. It's such a joy to highlight your experience, the amazing good you're doing in the world, the amazing work Equilo is doing as well. And I'm really excited for people to come join you, collaborate you, lift you up as well, just like you do for other people, particularly women in AI. So thank you so much for everything you do, and thank you for joining us today. Especially happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Polly. I'm really an honor to be here. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. That's our episode of AI Product Leader for this week. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.